All right. So this will be a little better than the introduction video. That I believe I was stumbling over my words a little bit, but now I'm doing it again. And let me get right to it. So in the first video, I talked about how I sliced my wrist open. You can actually see the scar right there. And this event changed my life. And I began to understand myself. In a way, it was like when I say like a door, right? A door that opened up, or some sort of cork. There you go. A door. A cork opened up, and everything came out. All of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions. I was just an emotional roller coaster. I was staring at my wrist, and my hand didn't work. I'm a professional musician and playing piano, and my hand didn't work, so I was just falling apart. And for 10 days between when I injured myself and when I got the surgery to repair the 4 tendons that had been sliced, the tendons that lifted my wrist and lifted my thumb and basically everything I needed in my hand, there was a 10-day gap. And I sat there and I basically it was a lot of staring at the wall, just the blank stare and trying to figure out what happened and put a plan together, because I assumed I wouldn't be doing music anymore. I assumed that this event was going to take me out of the music game for the rest of my life. And so I was a lot of crying, a lot of anger, a lot of planning and figuring it out. But something happened. Now this is a very important moment, and this is going to be the switch from piano and old Beau 2.0, just a lot of piano videos and a lot of piano playing, to the information I'm going to be beginning to discuss in this video series. Something happened. I became aware of who I was, because all I could hear were these thoughts, right? It was just like, you're never gonna make it. Oh, you're gonna be fine. It was always a little bad, a little good, future, past, what ifs, shoulds, woulds, and I became aware. I was like, well, what is this thing that I'm hearing in my head? What is that? What the heck is that thing? Is that me? That doesn't sound like me. It doesn't sound like something I would say to myself over and over and over. It sounded like something else, right? Sounded like something else. And this is where I think a lot of people are. You hear that's my dog, by the way. You hear a voice. I'm just going to keep going. You hear a voice, and we assume that that's us. We assume that that's who we are. But it's not. It is not who we are. It is the mind. And I'm going to be getting into the mind in the following videos. But the mind is something completely unique. You create your own mind. You create your own mind to filter thought forms within your head. I mean, that's wild. I had to see that to believe it, and I was able to pass focus within my own. Within my own head, from where we focus thought right in here, and what we see. I was able to pass focus to areas of my own head to see where thought originated from. That sounds really wild, but I'll get into more specifics as we go along. Hold on one second. Hey, Rennie, hold on, man. I'm recording. It's my dog. His name's Rin. You good? Anyway. But so I'm sitting there and I'm hearing this thought. This voice, and I'm like, is that me? Like that's not me. And you think you're crazy. You're like, am I supposed to be asking questions? Am I hearing a voice? Is there a voice in my head? That whole thing. But that's not the deal. That's not the deal. There's a very specific pattern to it. The next video is going to get into the exact specifics of the mind and the patterns that I was able to uniquely view for myself, right? Because you create your mind. There's only one thing that can outsmart you, and that's you. You create your mind as basically a distraction to hold focus in an area so that you don't see other areas. Meanwhile, you're being controlled. That's the deal. You're controlled by your mind. Your mind controls your focus to guard your deepest fears. You create it. You create it in a moment of trauma. You create it at a very young age. The mind then controls every aspect of your reality. Your brain, okay, your mind controls your brain. It controls thought forms. It controls the way you feel. It controls your emotions. It controls what thought forms enter the space within the head, where you project, the reality you create. And then you're in a reaction mode, right? Viewing it with your eyes, going, well, what is this? I see patterns in these people in my life, that these themes in my life, but what is that? That's not you. You're projecting a reality through a lens. The mind is a lens. It's a filter that you create to guard your deepest fears. And to truly understand that, you have to, or you may choose to begin to understand the thought forms that your mind chooses to control your focus. Okay. There you go. That's pretty wild. So, let me explain that a little bit more, and let me in a way sort of prove it to people. Your thought forms and the thoughts that you have they're unique to you. Okay? They're unique to you to control your focus. In other words, if my thought forms were focused on cats, or say motorcycles, or just a couple examples, it wouldn't grab my focus. My mind uses things to grab my focus that it understands by my sensory, right? By what I see and what I hear, to control my focus, like my dog, or the way, or what people think of me. Like, I wonder, did they like that? Or so thought forms that grab my focus, because that's the filter. But that's not everybody's filter. Your filter, your mind, is unique to you. It's unique to your viewing. Okay, so that's pretty wild. I'll get into the way the mind does that as we go along. But remember, the mind is created in a moment of trauma. It is created to guard your deepest fears, and it uses thought forms to hold focus within the head. And you can see it within the mind's eye. If you close your eyes, you can see, just imagine like a red apple. Okay, you can see that's the space it uses to control your focus. Your eyes represent control. They're the main input to the mind controlling the brain. The mind understands to control the brain, to control a being, right? Your body is controlled by the hub, right? The main network, okay? The brain. The mind controls the brain. Sensory response, what you hear, eyes, what you hear, what you taste, any experience you've ever had gets logged, cataloged, just like a computer, and the mind controls that. Okay, that was pretty intense. I'm running on about what do we got? 9 minutes now, a 9-minute video. Let me play a little music, and then go ahead and click on the next video to get more into the mind and the way it chooses to control. But that's a big one. So we'll get into that later on. But man, I wouldn't have believed it myself unless I saw it with my own eyes. Well, my own viewing. I was in this moment for 10 days of just suspended reality, where I could see everything in slow motion. Everything had been stripped out. All the thoughts used to control me for 30 something years were all dissipated, right? They all just out into the ether, and it was like restarting. It was an amazing moment. I truly feel that I chose it, and it was important for me to understand myself. Anyway, more to come.